Should we do this Kari Lake thing?
Sure.
This is pretty funny. Oh, and then we got to do the TikTok thing. That's actually really funny too. Charlie Kirk still having trouble getting over the fact that his, I would say probably his most prominent campaign, as it were, on his show and with TPUSA was getting the youth vote out in Arizona. And it turns out that Arizona was the one state where the youth vote went highest for the Democrat in the Kari Lake,
Katie Hobbs.
Katie Hobbs.
And across the board, I mean, basically every statewide position went blue in 2022.
So just an epic failure by any stretch of the imagination.
But by the biggest margin in terms of the youth vote was in Arizona. The highest margin youth vote for Democrats happened in Arizona. It's almost as if where Charlie Kirk put all his energy, he got the lowest possible return.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, if you wanted Charlie Kirk to help drive the youth vote out for you and you were a Republican, you would pay him money to go to a different state. That's what you would do. So he's having trouble with this. So I think that's why he holds on to this whole Kari Lake actually won narrative, because it's the only way he can justify trying to get more money from his funders. And here she is and he's trying to get her to run for something else. And this would be great, actually, because Kari Lake and Kyrsten Sinema would really split the vote, I think, in a way. And you'd have Gallego come right in. But I think even Kari Lake realizes, like, oh, if I lose twice in a row, this stolen narrative is going to be tougher to push.
Some people are clamoring for you to run for the U.S. Senate. I had a lot of people reach out this weekend over it. We got Gallego running. Sinema might run.
Hold on for a second. I'm willing to make a bet that a lot of people reached out this weekend saying that you should run for Senate. I would place the number of people who did that to Charlie Kirk somewhere between 1 and 0.
And the one being Kari Lake?
And one of them could be
maybe
Blake
2.
Masters.
Maybe 2 if her spokesperson reached out.
Could be his producer. Could be Gallego.
Some people are clamoring for you to run for the U.S. Senate. I had a lot of people reach out this weekend over it. We got Gallego running. Sinema might run. Therefore, there's a very clear lane for a three-way race. Is this something you're interested in?
Pause it. This is really insightful stuff. I hadn't thought about that. You've got the Democrat running. You've got an independent running. Really opens up the Republican lane. Go ahead.
Gallego running. Sinema might run. Therefore, there's a very clear lane for a three-way race. Is this something you're interested in? Something you're entertaining? What are your thoughts?
Yes, I am entertaining it. I mean, my number one priority is our court case. And I have full confidence in our court case, and I have hope that we'll get a judge to do the right thing. But I'm also looking at
put her in
what
as
happens
governor
if we don't get a decent ruling in that.
Mm-hmm.
And they want me to go away. They want our movement to go away. I represent we the people. And if they want us gone so badly that they're willing to steal an election, then I'm not going to let them have that. I won't go away. And I've seen some internal polling that shows I am the only Republican who can beat these other two.
Mm-hmm.
I find both of them incredibly dangerous to the people of Arizona.
Yeah, they are.
I find them, Kyrsten Sinema's voting record being 83%, or rather 93% of the time voting for Joe Biden's agenda. I find Ruben Gallego being a self-admitted socialist really frightening for Arizona. And if I'm the only Republican who can beat them, I would be willing to jump in.
Okay, Gallego just voted against that socialism bill. He was one of the 109 Democrats that joined the rest of the Republicans to denounce the evils of socialism. That was probably the stave off. That kind of critique, whatever, just pointing that out. Also, seems like a way to get out ahead of Masters, for sure, to say I'm the only Democrat that can win. I mean, only Republican that can win this race. Just putting that out there.
She's caught between a rock and a hard place because, as you know, she's governor of Arizona in her mind. And that would make it impossible for her to run for the Senate. And it would be a shirking of her duties as governor of Arizona in her mind to run for the Senate. Unless, and hear me out, she just runs for the Senate for Arizona in her mind. So that much easier to organize your duties of governor of Arizona in your mind if and run for Senate in your mind.
She's already actually governor in her mind.
That's what I'm saying.
Just add an extra wing.
If you have to be running for senator in the real world and still be governor in your own mind, that gets complicated because you're crossing some type of plane of reality. But if you can stay all in one reality, just the one that exists in your mind, much easier to organize your time.
Right. Separation of powers, but within the one structure.
Indeed.
Yeah. I would be interested to see how she fares in a run. I would also love Blake Masters to run and for them to have a knockdown, drag-out primary.
Do you think it is possible, the reason why she was non-committal to this is she was afraid that if she said, yes, I'm planning to run, that she was afraid that Charlie Kirk would say, well, I'm going to do everything I can to help you. And maybe she's afraid, like, I know, dude, can't you find some other governor to try and support this time around or some other senator? Because I saw what happened last time and I lost the youth vote in a greater margin than any other state in the country.
Yeah. Interesting.
With campaign help like that, who needs Oppo research?
I know. She might just want to stick to her Crowder friendship.
Exactly. Charlie Kirk is really, it's not a
great track record. He might need to get sent down to the minors.